Synology emailed me. They said, would you like us to send you the DS420 Plus? We would just like you to show it to people how they could use it as a home media server. I am a big Synology fan, have been buying my own Synology NAS devices for a couple of years. If they're going to send me another one, I am not going to say no. So this is the DS420. As you can see, this is what they call a desktop form factor. It is a 4-bay NAS device. It does have USB 3 on the front, which is really handy. If you want to set up automatic backups, you plug in a portable USB drive. You've got all sorts of options. If you go into the software, that's really handy. You have indicators for the status of each of those drives, and you have another status button that tells you if it's working okay or not. I will mention separate power supply. I do prefer a separate power supply myself. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. We do have twin fans. We do have twin 1 gig LAN ports. It supports link aggregation. You will need a suitable switch to make use of that. We have a Kensington lock, and we have another USB 3 slot on the back. There's no eSATA ports, I should point out on this one. You can't be connecting their expandable storage options, which you can do on some of their other models, which is really, really handy. There's 2 gigs of RAM that's soldered onto the motherboard. There is another slot that you can get to pretty easy. And you can officially add another 6 gigabytes of RAM. It is an easy to get to slot. I don't know if you can see that from there. I hope you can. It's just a matter of pulling those sliders apart and placing RAM. Even easier to get to are the 2 M.2 NVMe slots for drives on the back. Can't use them for storage, but what you can do with a pair of them is use them for read and write caching. So depending on your use of the NAS, it will make a lot of difference or may just make a little bit of difference. Importantly, in terms of what is a CPU, and this is why it's going to be interesting as a home server, which is where this is clearly geared towards. Comes with the Intel Celeron J4025. That means it has embedded hardware transcoding support. It's got hardware acceleration, which means if you want to use this as a Plex server or indeed Synology's own video station, which I am going to demonstrate a little bit later, you can make good use of transcoding without putting a hit, well, without putting a big hit on the CPU. Now, the J4025, they also do some desktop variations with the J4125. They both support 4K, H.265, 8-bit transcoding down to a maximum of 1080p. But to get the J4125, which is a slightly beefier CPU, in that you've got 4 cores, 4 threads. The J4025 on this one is 2 cores, 2 threads, but you're going to pay more. So J4125, this is the clue. Where does it sit in with the Synology range? Around the same price, 4125, is the DS720 Plus, but it's only got 2 bays. So an extra 2 bays, the same price, but you're taking a slight hit on the CPU. Otherwise, you're looking at £550 for the DS920 Plus, or indeed £750 for the 5-bay DS1520 Plus. You need to know it comes with a 3-year warranty. It weighs just 2 kilos, which is not a lot. I've certainly got a lot of speakers that weigh a hell of a lot more than that. You are limited by the 2 1 gig LAN ports. There is no option to expand that to a 2.5 or indeed a 10 gig LAN port. So you're going to be limited over your LAN read-write speeds. But internally, read-write 225 megabytes per second, which is pretty reasonable for the price you're paying and for what it's clearly geared towards. In terms of, again, where does it sit in terms of other options? I did do a couple of benchmarks myself. As I said, I do have the DS1621 Plus, which does not come with a processor that is hardware transcoding capable, but it is a beefier hardware outside of that. And I do have the DS918, older machine now, J3455, but to get that now, you'll still be paying about the same price as the DS420. So just to see where it sits and just to show you the benefits of having hardware transcoding. My little tests: 4K HEVC H.265 10-bit HDR. These CPUs will not decode that in terms of hardware, so it's being done by the CPU. I was getting, for a 10-minute clip, took 69 minutes to transcode that, whereas the DS1621 Plus, just 19 minutes, and my DS918 Plus, 28 minutes, 16 seconds. I should point out, that was with 8 gigs of RAM. That does affect the transcoding. It was only a rough test just to see where we sat, and I only had 2 gigs of RAM at that point when I did that test. When we come down to H.264, 8-bit, 4K, but SDR, that's being done by the hardware acceleration, 4 minutes 42 compared to software only 7 minutes 14 seconds on the DS1621, but slower, 5 minutes 57 for the DS918. So when it makes use of that hardware transcoding, makes a hell of a difference, even over a much beefier machine, and it certainly outdoes a slightly older generation, but you're going to pay the same money for it, albeit because you're paying for a 4-base DS918 Plus. So what's it all about? Home media server. You've got 3 main apps with Synology. Photos is Moments. Moments integrates with Synology Drive, and that's clearly where we are at the moment. When it comes to videos, Video Station is the main app, but you can also stream all your music, and they have an app called Audio Station, strangely enough. So the first thing I'm going to do is to show you how to set up Synology Moments and exactly what it can do. Synology Moments is going to integrate with Synology Drive, so the first thing you want to do is install Synology Drive. Package Center, install Synology Drive Server. Under Control Panel, User Advanced, enable User Home Service. Enable Team Folders using the Synology Drive Admin Console. And then we can install Synology Moments itself. Installing. So now we can open up Synology Moments. It will just tell you a few things about it. We haven't uploaded any photos. One thing to note, I did say install Synology Drive first. The reason is it installs under my drive. So we now have the folder to upload photos to. The first thing I'm going to do is download Synology Drive Client from my Windows 10 machine. The one I want, Synology Drive Client. Fire up Synology Drive Client. I don't want a two-way task. I'm just going to upload some photos, so that's a backup task. Tell it my NAS address. I'm going to back up some old holiday photos. And I'm going to set the backup destination as my Moments folder. So they will all be under the Moments browser itself. Going to give this a specific name. Make it a one-time backup. And run it now. I'm also going to back up my phone. So I'm going to download the app to my phone and upload photos from my phone. Synology Moments. Connect to me DS420 Plus. First thing you see is the photos I've just uploaded from my desktop client already starting to load and appear on the phone, but obviously we're going to have to come back. There are a lot of photos to be uploaded, but I want to go to my backup settings for the phone. I could back up everything on the phone. I could back up everything under DCIM folder, which obviously includes the camera folder, but I'm going to back up a specific folder at this point. So custom, my Insta folder, select that, done. Back up all of the photos, done. They are now backing up. So tens of thousands of photos, as you can see. It's a proper test. I'm backing up from my desktop, along with some mobile photos. If I go into Synology Drive, Moments, and there indeed is my mobile phone backup, as well as my desktop backup. If I open up Moments itself, you can see it's all still processing. So I'm going to let that all process and come back when it's all done. So to really get the best out of Synology Moments, you want to make sure you enable the AI, which is under For You. And depending on how many pictures, videos, etc. you have, it could take quite a while. So I've let it do its thing. I'm now going to open up via my browser Synology Moments, which of course runs under Synology Drive. I have to tell you, I've got in excess of 40,000 photos here. And as you can see, it works really nice because they're all thumbnailed. They're all cached. That's a smooth as butter. You can see on the right, we've got it listed by years. I can go all the way down very quickly if I want to. And let that load. Got to remember, 40,000 photos, in excess of 40,000 photos and some videos within this database. I'm going to go back to the top. You can see I am in timeline view. You can go to folder view. When you go to folder view, you will see that
what I backed up from my PC, it retains the file structure. So it was on my E drive. It was in a folder called Photos, and inside the Holiday Photos album. And those are nicely listed. I personally like to have the folder view. You can do folder view. And there is all my folders. Go back to timeline. I'm going to pick out a year, 2012. These are pictures from my trip in 2012. Now, I can make my own custom album by simply clicking on create the album, or I could upload more photos from here. I wanted to create an album. I would then select the pictures that I want in the album, but I'm not going to do that now. It's that easy to do. Of course, then they would show up under albums. Now, AI for you has been doing its thing. As you can see, it would also suggest effects and corrections you can do on existing photographs, but I'm not going to go into all that. Just know it's there, but here is where Moments is doing its thing. Now, tags. You can tag any picture you want. I've only tagged, for giving you an example, I tagged it with the name of a hotel. They will show up there. For instance, randomly select one picture. You'll notice it's easy to pick out the videos. It tells you the length of the videos. I'm going to pick out a photo. I could actually edit from here, but I'm just looking to tag. So I will go to information, and there you'll see option to add tag. I'm going to just say speakers, and then go into my albums, go into tags, and there is the tagged picture. Just remember, you can do that on industrial scale. I did one. You could do hundreds at one time if you want. You just have to select all the ones you're going to add the tags to. That's a great way to organize your pictures. Videos too. If your photos are tagged, it will show up under places. I've only got one tag photo here, but there you can see I was on the Costa del Sol in 2017 in the Burger King. You can share very easy, just like you would with Google Drive. Here's a picture I shared earlier. It's telling me all the shared photos. Now, supposing I share one now. Here's me on the balcony. I go to the share icon. And this is where, if you've enabled Quick Connect, when you click to share, you will have a URL that can be given to anybody from outside your network. And it's then very easy for them to connect, just like they would if you were sharing something in Google Drive. So that's a normal URL. If you didn't have that enabled, it would be your local network IP. Option to allow downloads. This is going to be public, accessible by anyone, or you could just have specific users. But if it's public, they don't have to actually be a user on your NAS to share that one picture, and they will only get into that one picture just like it would be on Google Drive. But perhaps the neatest option here is the option to do face tagging. I haven't tagged anyone, but it's coming up in order of whose face have they seen the most. They've seen most of me. It's telling me there's 298 photos. Nothing's been tagged. So in here, you would come in and start grouping anything that hadn't already been grouped. So it's noticed, even with my wig, by the way, this all looks like one person. And then who is this? Tell it. That's Alan. Enter. And that's as simple as that. All those photos are now tagged. And I can see it hasn't really missed any because my face doesn't appear anywhere else. But of course, you would then go through all your images and, oh, I did miss. Here's 86. So, see that? I've got sunglasses on. I wonder if they're all going to be sunglasses. Yep, indeed. It couldn't recognize me because my eyes were covered, but it has still grouped them. Now, I click on who's this. If I start typing Alan, well, it's giving me suggestions. You've already tagged in, mate. I'm going to say, yes, this is the same person. So I'm going to merge. Now, when I go back, 384 photos under Alan. So that's brilliant. That works really nice. And once it's done its initial job, you can see this is as smooth as butter. It does like to come up with ideas on what it thinks. None of these pictures were tagged. So this is AI at work. It's seen some animals. It's telling it's grouped them under pets, although it has got my legs under the pets for some reason. But basically, that's pretty much spot on. But you get the idea. It's doing best guesses to try and group photos. Here, clouds. It gets its own folder there. It's got horses. Just remember, none of these have been tagged. This is AI picking them out itself, and they are all spot on. They are all horses. So that's quite neat. Videos gets its own folder, recently added, gets its own folder. So you're going to get that anywhere you log on via a browser, obviously when you're logged in as a user. But it's not just about uploading from your PC, is it? It's also about backing up your phones or accessing all your pictures, images, etc. on your phone. So I'm going to go back to the app I installed on my phone earlier. So here we are on the phone. I'm scrolling happily through the whole lot. It's loading. Again, smooth as butter. How does it do that? These are 40,000, in excess of 40,000 photos hosted on the NAS. The secret of this formula is, I go into more settings. It's using cache management. I've got no limit set because I've got 500 gigs of space on my phone. By default, it was 500 megabytes, but you have the option there to set any cache you want. So they're all thumbnails. I'm not going to take up that much space anyway, until obviously I start clicking on them, and then they're going to load the thing itself. I open that fully. Look at that. It's smooth as butter. So it's organized in the same way as it is via the browser, or when I'm going straight into the NAS itself. Day, month, year, can organize any way I want. That's the straight photos themselves. Of course, I can go into the albums. You can create your own virtual albums, as I showed you. And of course, there's the stuff that the AI has already done, the tags and the people. Now, I just tagged myself on the NAS itself, and there it is, all showing up nicely. 384 photos of the guy himself, Alan, and there he is. And again, all loading smooth as butter. I can share it as easy as I did via the browser. I click on share link, and again, if I've got Quick Connect enabled, it will be a real-world link rather than just my network link. I can share it with anyone. I could make it public or specific users. It's the same options as we got via the browser. Even under the For You, it's giving me options of where it thinks I could add effects, and I have the chance to embed those effects that it's already added to the photo or not. That easy to back up your whole phone if you wanted to the NAS, access it from anywhere along with your Mac, your PC, whatever. Back to via the browser, the NAS itself. Just going to show you more options. I'm going to settings, and there's all the settings you can actually set. I can set my profile. Obviously, you got a NAS. The great thing about a NAS is sharing with hundreds, thousands of users if you really wanted to, depending on the NAS you have, and everybody can have their own profile. So set the way you want everything displayed, your map source, what to do with duplicated files. You could rename or just skip them all together so you won't double up. You've got re-indexing options, choose what to display when you create albums, in terms of the tags, how to sort them, about administrators and non-administrators and what they can do. And you can have a shared library. So depending on if this is just for you or who you want to share with, that's all in the settings. That's all part of Moments itself. Just to show you again just how easy it is to make albums or tag multiple photos, just like it does on your phone, just like using Google Drive. I can tag as many as I want, select them all at the same time. I could share them all now if I wanted. I could add those selected to an already created album. And now, because I've got multiple selected, I don't have to open up a single photo. I can just go straight to edit tags. I could even edit the date and time if I want, or just edit tags. This was a show I can't remember the name of. Unknown show. Create that tag. Okay. And whether I go to the phone or I go to my albums here, go to my tags, and there is the unknown show, and I could make its own album. Someone tells me the name of this show, and then I make an album for that name. So it's a really nice app, in my opinion.
I should point out also, the AI features of Synology Moments is not supported on all their NAS devices. Certainly going back to the older ones. That's why I want to point out all the AI features at this point are supported by the DS420 Plus. So that was Synology Moments. I do personally like that one. When you want to start streaming your videos, send them to your Android box, any device you want to do, play them on your phone, play them from the end of the country, from another country. Video Station is the app. And by default, hardware transcoding, which is what this is really all about and why it's good value, hardware transcoding supported by default. So my walkthrough of Video Station,
I'm going to install Video Station and have a quick look through it and see what the options are for streaming. Open up Video Station after installing. So telling me about the options to download metadata for your TV shows, your videos, along with ratings. Do not show warning again. Got it. So before we go into settings, let's set up a folder. So by default, Video Station will create its own folder called a video. I have already installed my own folders with some movies and a TV show series just to show you what it can do. And I'm going to use those folders. So we've already got the main genres laid out: movies, TV shows, and your own home video. And of course, you can use this for TV recording. You will have to set up your own tuners for that. You could create a whole new folder, give it its own name. I'm going to use the inbuilt movie folder. Choose a folder. So I already had my own movies in a folder called movies. I'm going to add that. Movie type, of course, is movie. Enable the info search. Absolutely. That will find the movies I've already had in those folders. It's telling me it's indexing. I'm going to add TV shows. My TV shows folder. This is TV show type. Okay. And still says indexing. So the movies, 3 movies in there, already picked up. I click on Elysium. All the information is there. The rating's already there. I can add other sources for info if I want. Settings, advanced. And here I can enable tvdb.com. Now, if you enable these and the movie database, you need your API key. So you're going to have to set up an account for that to work. So disable. Also here you can see conversion settings. Now we have hardware acceleration on the DS420 Plus, and obviously we want to take full advantage of that. Tick by default. It is DLNA enabled. Set up parental control. Require a pin. If I had a tuner and I was doing recordings, options are there. So now it's telling me it's unwatched. Of course, I haven't watched anything at this point. I can see already this is a True HD 7.1. So you will most likely want to be switching that to AC3 when you get the option. First thing to note, this is a 4K file. It's telling me it's 4K. You probably want to take advantage of offline transcoding. It's under the options, offline convert. TV shows, show you it's picked up the series that was in there. Episode information, all nice. What we really want to do is watch. So the first option, of course, is watching via a browser. Here I am on Opera, and I can use Video Station's own embedded player, play straight off the NAS. Let's go to episode 1. This is a 1080p file, full screen. Let's try scrubbing through this 1080p file. No problems at all. It's slightly choppy. You can have a look at the settings. Playback quality. It is indeed original, so this is direct play. I could choose some of the lower settings, which means transcoding at source. Now, this is playing via the browser. Not the greatest way to stream anything, really. I'm on Windows 10. There is a dedicated Windows 10 app. The app is DS Video, and I'm going to log in on my Windows machine. And here we are. This is the app itself. Let's try the same video, the same series, episodes, episode 1. By the way, you can see there's a marker there. It's a little bit blue. That means I've been watching it, and that's how much I've watched of it. Let's play that. Champion. Now I'm going to try scrubbing through. And that is lovely. So when you're using the app, it's battery smooth. If you go into the settings here, you see playback quality is already on auto. I'm going to set that to highest quality first. And transcoding is on. I'm going to turn that off. I don't really need to be transcoding. So now proper direct play. Let's try the 4K Elysium. Audio's. That looks absolutely lovely. That's 4K direct play. Near instant scrubbing on my 4K video. That's working really nice. So the Windows app works really nice. I can direct play. Let's try it on the phone. Need to install DS video. Using Quick Connect means you can access your videos from anywhere, even outside your local network. So here I am, logging onto my NAS machine from my phone. Let's fire up Jumanji this time. That's a 1080p file. Try scrubbing. Just a little bit of lag. This is over the net, by the way. This is not my local LAN. And that's playing really nice. Just a hint of lag. Look at TV shows. Here's my TV series. Let's load up an episode. Let the buffering do its thing. Let's try scrubbing. Just a tiny bit of lag, so that works really nice. I do have the options here to stream it to a TV or Chromecast device. As you can see here, I could stream to my NVIDIA Shield. So really, all options covered. In the real world, I'd be making optimized versions. I simply go to Offline Convert. Click OK. You can, by the way, choose the quality you want to convert to. There goes the CPU. That's going to do its thing. I could do the same for the 1080p files, but when they stream over mobile network, for example, small is better. Line convert, and I'm going to medium quality track. Okay, so that's pretty much a quick overview of Video Station.
We've covered photos, we've covered videos, storing videos, backing up videos, and indeed streaming your videos. But then you've got a music collection. You may be like me. You were building a collection from before we had Spotify and all these other online apps. You have literally thousands of music files. You want to access those as well from anywhere in the world, but you don't want to use up storage on your phone. That's where you're going to use Audio Station.
So I'm going to install Audio Station via the Package Center. Open up Audio Station. If you go to File Station, you will notice it has created a folder called Music. I am now going to upload all my music to the Music folder and then show you how I can stream that. So this is a good test of exactly what Audio Station can do, combined with DS Audio, 125 gigs of music, over 1,000 folders, over 20,000 files. So here we are in the main Audio Station app via a browser. On the home screen, recommended genres and my pins. So you can go into your music, you could select folders and then pin them. You can go into albums, pin them, and the same with artists, composers, and of course genres. And they will all appear on your home screen. So that's how my pins work. You can have this work in conjunction with the built-in media server. I haven't got that installed, but then you will be DLNA AirPlay enabled. So you've already seen we're listed by folder, album, etc. All my music can be loaded under that one heading. And don't forget, over 20,000 files, and that's loading pretty nicely. You can, of course, create your own playlist. You also can use the built-in playlists. Here we've got randoms, or recently added, shared songs. Of course, this is a NAS. It's all about sharing, and not just your music streaming. You've got internet radio here, Shoutcast built in. You can add your own radio stations if you want. Let's have a look at the settings available to us. Obviously, we're on the NAS, as I said. You want to know what the privileges are. You can add your own lyrics plugin. I believe this is the demo. And when you're playing to a unsupported web browser, do you want to convert to WAV or MP3? Obviously, WAV would be lossless, but less support. You can import your iTunes songs ratings. You can set this up so every user on your NAS will have their own directory for the music, and everybody's music will be separated. You can set that up and then enable a personal library, and then you have the option of browsing your music and all shared music or just your own music. You can allow music to be downloaded options for attached USB speakers, does support Amazon Alexa, and then again, DLNA settings. But this is all about streaming. So what I need to do is set up DS Audio on my phone. So download, install DS Audio. Going to use my Quick Connect ID so I can access my music collection from anywhere across the internet. Give myself permission to save songs and lyrics. Give access. And now, from anywhere in the world, I can stream 120 gigs of my music collection. Again, albums, remember, 120 gigs this is streaming. And look how nicely that's loading. Artists, composers, genres, folders, songs. We go back to folders. There is a sleep timer here, by the way. I can play all, shuffle them if I wanted. Well, let's play something. So let's play something from an album. Sia, Chandelier. Now the thing is, once I start playing something, I go to downloaded songs and it's there. So everything I start streaming will be downloaded. Next time I play it, it will play straight off my phone. To control how much is actually cached to my phone itself, options, downloaded songs, and here is where you set the limit. Now it's set by default 1 GB, but you can change that to nothing, no limit, or something in between. And you can also from here remove all the ones that are currently being downloaded. And you'll also see what format has been used for transcoding. You can change that there to WAV if you want. It does have an inbuilt equalizer which you can enable. I go to my home screen, as we saw before. There is all of the My Pins shortcuts. I pin it from any device I've been streaming, and they will all appear under My Pins for quick access. Built-in playlists, most often played, recently played, top ratings, etc. As you start giving ratings, that will build up. So on one level, quite a simple app, but really immensely powerful. You're literally streaming your entire music collection to anywhere you are. You got built-in radio if you want, and a ton of options to customize the way your player works. Just to show you how quick that is to scroll through. They make good use of caching. And lightning fast, that is 120 gigs, that's over the internet.
So I hope that was of interest to you, even if it's not just about this particular NAS, which is more about value than, being overflowing with features. It does what it does, and that's the point. But if you're interested in this form factor, in Synology themselves, their apps, bear in mind, you have all those other options where you will get expandable storage. You can, upgrade to a 10 gig LAN, etc., etc. I do like Synology, as I said. I was buying them before they were actually sending them to me. Synology really is about their streamlined software. If you want to keep up to date with exactly what's happening with Synology, they do their own YouTube channel. I'm going to give them a plug. Their channel is Synology Inc., all one word, and they do webinars on there if you want to know what's happening and where indeed they're going in the future. Hope this was of interest to you. I thank you for watching.